Chapter 1. Planning to Write. Look for a comfortable place to write. If you're a writer, you will need a space or an unrestricted area where you can write comfortably and where your materials will be safe and secure from any potential disruption. Think about the view. A workspace with great view can be a major hindrance to some writers. For some, anything eye-catching can break your focus or disrupt your concentration. It is imperative to maintain focus when writing, and even more so when writing to meet deadlines. Conversely, pleasant surroundings can also serve to inspire and encourage your creative process. Beautiful scenery or a great view of the sun rising over your city's skyline may be just what you need to fuel your imaginative sustenance, which in turn will allow you to write at your finest. Your personal space. Your writing space should go hand in hand with your comfort level. You must be well suited in your work zone first before you start your task. You should consider working in a relaxed and uncluttered environment, and one where you have complete control of your immediate surroundings. Take into consideration where you want your work area, and then before you actually get started, try sitting in it for a few minutes. Is the chair too hard? Is it a high traffic area where people are passing by too frequently? Is your writing space close to your reference material? Do you feel a level of anxiety or discomfort? If so, you may want to continue your search for the best location. Amazingly, poor locations can be made better with the simplest of everyday items. A cold, barren desktop, for example, can become a pleasant working environment when you add a potted plant or some flowers. Or working in dim light with soothing music may be your thing. Experiment with different things and eventually you will find the right combination for creating a perfect working atmosphere. Writing tools. A writer should have the following in order to accomplish the task. Reference materials. You may need a multitude of books, depending on the type of writing you will be doing. Some examples may include thesaurus, dictionary, encyclopedia, atlas, trivia books, quotation books, grammar guides, internet. You can build a personal library for your reference material, and in doing so, you will save a lot of time when searching. You can try the following to build your collection inexpensively. Look for a book exchange program. Go to garage and yard sales. Purchase used books online. Visit book sales and thrift book stores. Look for libraries that may be selling old books. Download free grammar and spelling correction programs off the internet. Writing medium. Nowadays, a writer has 3 options available: a personal computer, a typewriter, or paper and pens. Just choose what you think best fits your writing style. Remember, it's about being comfortable and secure in your writing environment. You may also want to invest in a filing cabinet to keep your work and notes. Some writers use voice recorders these days for taking notes. Moreover, some writers almost exclusively use a small handheld MP3 recorder to make rough outlines for their stories. This can work well for some, but others may find it to be aggravating when you lose your place on the recording. Carrying a recorder with you everywhere you go can be the best thing to do. You will never be left trying to remember all the details of a passing thought you may have had hours before. For this reason, a small handheld, preferably digital recorder can be a priceless commodity. Mind setting for creative writing. Once you've got your writing space and tools set up, it's time to get down to the business of writing your project. At this point, you will most likely be brainstorming and exploring what subject and topics you want to write about. Writing artistically isn't easy, make no bones about it. It takes guts and determination. It takes courage to start something you may never have done before and strength to see it through to the end. Your mind may always be overshadowed by what others may think of your writing style, whether or not your grammar is perfect or if you're making yourself clear to the reader. But remember, everyone has uncertainties about doing it. From New York Times bestsellers to your everyday beginners. The question is, how do they conquer these fears? The answer? They don't. The key is to simply sit down and write. Write everything you feel and write everything you think. Your nagging self-doubt in regards to other people appreciating your work is abundantly common in the writing business. But writing is an art. You have to naturally go along with what you feel when it comes to writing. How you feel will reflect upon your finished product. You shouldn't stem the flow of personal creativity when it comes to creative writing. After you have completed the basic outline of your story, go back, and if something is unclear to you, chances are it will probably be unclear to someone else as well. So this is the time to fix it. Like any art form, writing requires a certain level of inspiration. Such inspirations will most likely not be found sitting around your house. The imagination only appears limitless, but rest assured, even the human mind can benefit from a refreshing walk in the park. Inspiration is the driving force behind creativity in general. You must constantly feed inspiration by having new experiences, preferably every day. So get out and experience life, and in doing so, you will find your creativity dramatically increase. Intensifying your idea. Now that your imagination has been properly nourished, it's time to expand what you have so far. You need to take a simple idea and develop it further. It's as simple as that. Consider the following questions when expanding an idea. Will your idea be a short story, or will it be a novel? Will you be writing a poem? Who is your target audience? Will the story be told as a first-person narrative? Once you've answered these questions, then you're ready to write. Objective. Writing has several goals, but it's good to have only one purpose in writing. Your goal might be to share a story that will inspire readers or to provoke thought. Exploring a specific subject or rapport which will allow you to successfully connect with your readers may be your intent, but you need to establish what your base objective is. Span. You may want to start out by exploring topics which are smaller in scope. For example, you're writing a biography of a celebrity who is considered controversial because of his or her scandalous ways. You may want to focus on the controversial showbiz life rather than on the specific details of his or her actual crime. If you do not want to write about the scandal, you may find that the span is limited to what would constitute a simple article. Instead, you should focus on the subject in general, his or her accomplishments. If the smaller piece of writing goes well, you can expand it in order to build a larger project, perhaps even another book. Format. You may find that you want to write your piece in a particular style or genre, a play or a poem, for example. As you begin to look at the format, you may notice that things have taken a wild turn. Like your college years, for instance, might be the basis of an exciting journal that you originally wanted to write about, but as it turns out, it could also be the topic of hilarious poetry. Format is part of the ongoing creative process and can often lead you places you least expected to go. Be mindful of this and ensure that you maintain continuity throughout the entire project if you notice the format changing. If you began writing a narrative biography and 30 pages later it becomes a dialogued story, make a choice in format and stick to it. Don't mix them together. Audience and readership. Your target audience can have a huge effect on the kind of words you use. If you write for young adults, it would be in your best interest to use words that most teenagers are using. This varies widely in the young adult, as it deals with readers that are at various stages of maturity. Talking about pop culture subjects alone may interest some teens, while others may be more mature and, as such, will desire something that is a little racier. Books for teens should include words and information they can connect with. As a consequence, young adults can be one of the more difficult groups to write for if you are not up to date with the latest trends. Make sure you write according to your audience's reading level, but don't insult your reader by assuming they will not understand something you're writing about.